Tell me that I'm not the only person in the world that's watching the Titanic right now. Mm-hmm. Can you see it? Something about watching about all this, the Titan out there in the ocean, has got my brain spinning by. But I'm also doing this. Well, here, do you see this? This is my book proposal here. Don't get too impressed. Don't get too impressed. It's not very organized. I'm basically just putting things into sections. I've spent a whole freaking week doing this. I just don't know if it's that worth it. You're going to be up too. Ugh, those people on that Titan. I know, and there are terrible things that happen to people all over the world. Every 5 seconds, something terrible happens. And that is not one of the worst things, but there's just something about real time. And I just read this article about how the U.S. Navy sent this winch, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, this is great. Well, the winch, they're reading glasses, thank you. The winch can't even, it hasn't even been mounted onto a boat. So even if right this second they knew where that sub was, they're not going to be able to get it up in time. I think I would just rather not know where it was than to think that it was down there and they were alive in it and I couldn't get it up in time. Right? Oh, golly Moses. I mean, I just can't take it. Usually don't catch you live. I'm not usually on this late. Your heart breaks for their loved ones. Well, Cardi B got all pissy because evidently the stepson of the billionaire went to a concert. Went to a darn concert like last night. You just found out your great uncle died on the Titanic. Wow. And I really was thinking, okay, if my husband was missing, would my children go to a concert? But maybe if I had stepchildren, they would. I don't know. The poor mother who let the 19-year-old go. Well, a 19-year-old is not a 9-year-old. I mean, shoot, I have a 17-year-old, and I feel like the 17-year-old is, sort of making his own decisions. How was the Titanic found? Well, it's interesting that you asked that. I was reading about that earlier today. It was found during like a kind of a spy mission. They weren't actually looking for the Titanic. The stepson said that's how he chills. Well, Cardi B said, I'm not laughing. I mean, I don't even know who Cardi B is. But let me just tell you what she says. Hold on. I had wondered why I bought a computer because I write everything on my phone. It's very helpful when you're writing a book proposal. Cardi B says, hold on, it's on news sites like Hola and Billboard. Okay, on Billboard, let's look at that. She's not only mad at him, so he's the stepson of Hamish Harding. She's not just mad at him. So we're talking about the Titan, the sub that was under the water. And then somebody on a nearby Craigslist where I live put up a picture of their like above ground gas something and said, does anybody want to go to the bottom of the James River? Well, I don't think this is a joke. I mean, that could be a joke, which is terrible. I laugh when it's inappropriate. But the whole Cardi B thing is interesting. So the stepson goes to this goes to a concert, and then the stepson starts tagging the concert people in his tweets so that like he gets some attention for being there. Well, I mean, that is a little bit nuts, right? It's pronounced hey Amish. Oh, well, that's good. That's a good way to say it. Hey Amish. Cardi B said the point was the whole world is praying for these people in the submarine, and this man's son is online shaking something for girls off OnlyFans and going to Blink 182 concerts. You was looking for clout all along. Nobody knew who you were until you said that was your stepdad. Lots of that joke going around in poor taste. I will say it's poor taste. But I think we could show a little bit. Somebody doesn't want to see them moving the vessel with the $25 controller. So since tonight I'm watching Titanic, the very beginning of Titanic, there's this massive submarine that goes down at the beginning of the movie. So I start Googling things like, is that real? Was there a sub? Because that thing looked pretty big. Well, evidently, James, whoever that is, that made the Titanic, he went down there, Hamish, no Hamish. Okay. Hamish. Oh my gosh. Y'all are all done in over this. I'll call him H. James Cameron, the sub he had was a Russian sub. And that thing was big. So I do think there's something to like, if you're going to spend $250,000, wouldn't you want to go down? The one James Cameron went in did not look amateurish, right? Anyway, it's like, do you want to go on a homemade helicopter? I do not. Anyway, this Cardi B thing, that tickled me. I just think that's funny that Cardi B just attacked the stepson. Tell the story, please. Would I go down there to the Titanic? No, I wouldn't go down to the darn Titanic. Are you crazy? No, it is dark and cold down there. I don't even like to go outside in the winter. No. I think sometimes people are like, oh, it's not a good time to bring up that it wasn't safe or it wasn't this or it wasn't that. But you have to, you might have to talk about it. It was not bolted from the outside. I thought the thing had 17 bolts in it. Crap. Let's dump cold water in my pants. Did they find them yet? No. No, I'm going to put up my subscription thing. No, they didn't find them. They heard banging yesterday and today, but they hadn't found the bang. They don't know where the banging is even from. It's bad. You wouldn't go for $5. Well, my friend Carrie Cariello today, we were talking, and she said that she was like, I wouldn't go. I get claustrophobic in the darn hotel bathroom. Airplane bathroom, not hotel bathroom. Anyway. Uh-oh. One toilet. Whew. Oh, golly. A hot air balloon. I'm not doing that either. I tell you, there are a few things I would not do. I would not skydive either. Basically, the rules for myself, I'll tell you what they are. The banging is from steel. They did find that out. What did they steal? STAL, steel? Here's my general rule of thumb. Okay? Get ready. Whatever I do, I think about the fact if something happens to me or something happens to my children, is somebody going to say, well, that was her fault? That's why I quit smoking, because I was like, I'm going to get lung cancer, and then they're all going to blame me. You'd be like, well, she smoked. Or she went down in that sub. That was dumb. Or she jumped out of a plane. What did she think was going to happen? So I just kind of fast forward through all things like that. I'm not saying you people can't, but I'm just saying that's what I do. The hot air balloon, of course she blew away. Now, there are other things I do. Like I might, be in a boat and it might sink. But you're going to be like, well, she had on her life jacket. So if something happens to her, she was still doing the best she could at the time. Yeah, it's true. That's just my rule of thumb. You don't go through car washes. That hot air balloon stuff freaks me out. Isn't it funny? But I'm not scared of sharks, but I'm terrified of alligators. I think that's how I feel about a hot air balloon. I basically feel like if you go up in a hot air balloon, you're going to run out of fuel. What you're doing is called good parenting. Oh, well, that's such a compliment. My priority is staying alive for my kids. Maybe that's what it is. Yay, a new subscriber. What, they don't all go in submarines? Is there a video of them setting off on this voyage? Yeah, there's a video of them setting off on the voyage, but really the video is just them getting plopped right into the ocean. They have oxygen till 7 a.m. Why didn't the spouse go? Oh, well, hello. The same reason I didn't go hog hunting. You chew ice and found out you were anemic. I'm not. Alligators, right? Anything with teeth. One of the guys backed out at the last minute due to safety concerns. Well, I have a cousin. His name is Mark Littler. And Mark and his wife he was head of marine biology at the Smithsonian. And they discovered life 2 miles below the surface or something at the bottom of the ocean. And spent a lot of time on submarines. And I just don't have any desire to do that. Maybe if I were in a pool, I would. My thought is, submarines can't have GPS or radar. You know how I love that Find My iPhone. You can't have any of that because evidently the can't get through the water. It needs air. I don't want to be in anything where nobody can find me. I finally realized who you remind me of. You can break teeth chewing ice. This is rabbit turd ice. It's not real ice. It's going to make my teeth break. CNN is now saying they'll be freezing. Oh, that's good. Great. Thank you for telling us that, CNN. We needed to know that now, that the poor people are down there freezing. Titan has Skylink. Well, I don't know what Skylink is, but all I know is that there's no beacon and there's no where are they? Ding, 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 ding. So if somebody were going to invent something, that's what I would invent. I would want literally like a rope to be tied to me down there. I saw the interview with the man. Yeah, he got down there and got trapped under the Titanic. But on Sunday when they got lost, the group, what is rabbit turd ice? You must not be from Eastern North Carolina. Rabbit turd ice. Rabbit pellet ice. Come on, shape up. Honor, what are you doing? What is that noise? Gosh, the dog is making funny noises. Now they're freezing. I already have 4 crowns. Hold on, y'all are distracting me. I mean, and I'm sitting here watching the Titanic. I'm watching Rose. Like, think of the irony on that. If you are down there, you wanted to see the Titanic, and you go down there, and then you freeze down by the Titanic. I mean, that is ironic. I don't mean that like in a mean way either. But isn't that interesting? Oh, I mean, that is beside irony in the dictionary. Oh, gosh. Missing massive search, twice the size of Connecticut. I will say Connecticut is a very small state. Now, Ocean Gate, they had this, they were on CBS Sunday morning, I don't know, 6 months ago. Honor, quiet. Honor. She's licking something else now. And they were like, oh, yeah, we partnered with Boeing and NASA. Well, like a 2021 news release from Ocean Gates lists Boeing as a partner and said it provided, quote, design and engineering support for the Titan submersible. Okay. Boeing said today, Boeing was not a partner on the Titan and did not design or build it. And then the University of Washington had also been listed as this collaborative agreement with Ocean's Gate. The University of Washington said, we were not involved. This is not looking good. Because now, I'm not a lawyer, I just play one on TV. But now if these people die in this thing, and the company has lied about all this stuff, you could have some families that are going to sue you and be like, yeah, they might have signed this document, but they signed it under the guise that this was a real vehicle. Like, you go on a ride at the fair and the fair says, yeah, we were checked out this morning. And then you find out the Ferris wheel never got checked. Well, suddenly you have a case. Pray for their safe return. Well, so here's the only way they're going to have a safe return is if they just pop up in the next 8 hours. That's what's going to happen. They're going to have to pop up because even if they find them, if they are deep down and they find them, they cannot get them up in time for them to have oxygen. Oh, I do see it. They're freezing cold. The water entirely surrounding the ship is at freezing or slightly below. I didn't know water could be freezing. When they exhale, their breath condenses. There's frost on the inside of the parts of the submarine. They're huddled together trying to conserve body heat. They're running low on oxygen, and they're exhaling carbon dioxide. The oxygen and carbon dioxide in the freezing are what they got to hold on to as long as possible to give the rescuers what they need. So this guy, Josh Gates, he was on the Discovery Channel, and he went on a test dive on the Ocean Gate on the Titan in 2021, and he called it surreal and haunting. This is not a good sign. It was Expedition Unknown, and he spent time with Stockton Rush and that H. Harding that y'all were talking about. He and his team decided they were not going to film a segment about this Ocean Gate plan to go down to the Titanic. You know why? Because he said the program wasn't ready. So you have a host on Discovery Channel who the whole show is called Expedition Unknown. And they won't go on the expedition. This is not a good sign. He said, in the course, though, of going out on Titan and diving down inside of it, it just became clear to us at the time there was a lot that needed to be worked out with the sub. A lot of the systems worked, but a lot of them really didn't. This is in 2021. We had issues with thrusters and issues with computer control and things like that. Ultimately, it was a challenging dive. He explained in 2021, bless me, that there were 4 ways for the vessel to shed weight and bring it back up to the surface in the case of an emergency. On the one hand, you have this incredibly innovative novel design, but on the other hand, there are a lot of unknowns. Anyway, people can be brave, but you can also be, overconfident. I'll say one thing. You didn't see any women on that submarine. I think it would be hard for a woman to think that she was going to spend $250,000 to take a ride on in a dark can. I'd be thinking, gosh, I could do a lot of good with that money. I could build a pool in my town, or I could, do something good. There's a cat trying to break in here. This is my ground zero. Hold on. But anyway, I guess we'll know in the morning. There are 5 people on it. Is this the cat? Oh, the kitty cannot get in. No, it can't. Could support a village for a decade, right? Oh, anyway. I don't think it's that there are rich people on it that you're hearing about it. I think if it were loaded up with poor people, you'd be hearing about it. I think the reason you're hearing about it is because it is very unusual. I don't think it has anything to do with who's on it. Truthfully. I mean, there wouldn't be any poor people on there because it's a real expensive trip. But it doesn't have to do with rich. Does it? No, it does not. No, it does not. Anyway, they don't have any food. The food is the least of people's problems. You can go, as I tell my children, like 2 weeks with no food. I mean, no, you don't need food for a few days. You'll be fine. Yeah, food, schmood. Of course, I don't exactly abide by that mantra. I hope you saw my health video earlier today. I'm trying to psych myself up to start exercising. Carry on, people. Subscribers, see you in the morning. We'll have an early morning coffee chat, 9 a.m.